Alright, so I got to test out Apple Vision Pro during the demo, so I want to talk about it, I want to give my thoughts. This will be about a two-part video. It will be all in one video, but the first half will be what is the demo, what did it look like, what happened to me, and then the second part will actually be my thoughts. I have 5 points of positivity about the Vision Pro and 5 points of negative feedback about the Vision Pro. So let's hop right into it. So let's start off with what is the demo? If you've never been or have never seen any videos about it or even heard of it, I'm going to talk to you about it right now. So essentially you walk in, right? You can book yourself an appointment. I got in really quickly. You walk right in. You're seated one-on-one with an Apple employee, and essentially when you first sit down, they'll actually give you a QR code. You'll get everything synced up, and you'll scan your face again. That way they can take that scan to the back and fit the light seal to go around your face on the Vision Pro. But once that's done, it only took maybe 10 minutes out of the 30-minute demo session. And so they bring the Vision Pro back over to our table. It's on this little plate, kind of pretty looking, you know. And essentially what they do is he showed me how to put it on, how to grab it. It is kind of an awkward thing to grab, which I did notice. But anyways, once you do grab it and put it on your head, you know, he showed me there's like the little dial on, I believe it's this side, it might be this side, one of the sides, and you twist it and it just kind of tightens up the band for you to make it extra comfortable. So that was nice. But anyways, once that happens, then I'm in the Vision Pro. Then what he wants me to do is you have to hold down the digital crown and it'll actually align the lenses to your eyes. So that means it won't be blurry, it'll be all in focus. So anyways, once you get it kind of lined up properly, then you kind of have to go through, it's what a lot of people have had to go through like on setup for the YouTube videos that I've seen. So basically it gives you like 3 or 4 different dark and light environments. And you have to just go around selecting the dots. To select them, if you haven't heard by now, somehow or another, you actually have to look at the dots with your eyes and then pinch your fingers. It's a very subtle action. It worked pretty well. There was a couple times where it wouldn't pick it up, but overall I would say it did work pretty well. But anyways, you go through a couple different lights just to kind of adjust the device to pick up how your eyes work in different lightings. But after that, you're really kind of into it. I think one of the coolest things was when you first cut it on, there's just a hello that just kind of writes itself in cursive like across your eyes is the best way to describe it. It would have been awesome if I could. I tried to get screen recordings of what I was seeing, but they wouldn't let me do that. But anyways, it just writes it across your screen, and it's awesome. It looks so like it's supposed to be there, which is great. All right, so once we kind of get past the whole setup process, the next thing is, you know, using the device. And so what we kind of go through first, I believe, is photos. So, you know, you press the digital crown once to open up your home view, your apps, whatever you want to call it. And at that point, it's awesome because I'm looking at it. It looks so much more real than YouTube could show me. It's really impressive. And these demos are free. So if you want to go check it out, I highly recommend it. It's pretty cool. He advises me to go into the Photos app. So I just look at it, click my fingers together. There we go. We're in the Photos app. And we just look through a couple pictures. You know, obviously they look really cool. They're big. You know, he shows me how to move around and resize the windows. You know, to move them around, you just kind of pinch the bottom line and you can move it back or forth or just wherever. And then to resize them, you just literally look at the corner. A little white arrow shaped thing will pop up. You just pinch it and you can drag and resize the window. Pretty simple. Anyway, so he's showing me how to do that, how to look at the different photos. To swipe, you just look at the photo somewhere and just pinch and swipe. Pretty simple. And then to to zoom into the photos, you actually can take both of your hands and then zoom in and out like this. Just pinch, zoom, and then it'll zoom in to wherever your eyes are focused on. So if you wanted to focus on the person's head, you zoom in, it'll zoom in on their head. So really kind of is scary, but also it's really awesome at the same time how it works. It was incredibly impressive. So after we look at some typical photos, the next thing we do is kind of look at some panoramas, and after that, some good 3D photos or videos, which I'll get to in a second. But anyways, for the panoramas, they're awesome. I think this is truly how panoramas are meant to be viewed. Like, they're cool on an iPhone, but they're really really cool in Vision Pro. And so the way this works is, I believe in the top right corner of the panorama photo, there's like a panorama symbol, is my best way of describing it. But anyways, you click on it and instantly it just opens up this whole photo. And I'm talking like it's above and below where I can see out of my peripheral vision. It's way back, like here almost, is kind of where it ends. And so I can look around, and it's more like being there than just looking at a photo of what the place used to be, which is awesome. And then for 3D photos and videos, I really think this is how 3D is meant to be viewed. Like, it's so much more awesome in Vision Pro. And so for the photos, for example, I got to look at a photo or two, and it's just, you can move around, you can kind of look and just see. It's one of those, like, number one, I can't describe it. Like, you gotta just go see it. It's free, remember. And number two, it's more of being there instead of just looking at a memory of what was at one point. I wasn't even there. This was like a birthday party. Like, I wasn't even there. But it looked awesome. And then the videos were actually even cooler. Like, it's so hard to explain, but it's like, it's just, you're there. Like, that's really the best way I can explain it. It's just the fact that you're there, and it just feels real. Now, on the topic of 3D, I just want to talk about like a couple of things we did. So number one, I got to look at a little snippet of a movie. I believe this one was Avatar, the one that I watched. And so he just kind of showed me how you can use the immersive mode, VR mode, and just kind of go into wherever you want to be. Like, for example, I was in the movie theater. You can pick your seats and all this cool stuff. And just to watch the movie, you can make it big or small. Like, it was really cool. And the fact, like, it was a 3D thing, so it had that awesome just popping out at you. I can't explain it. It was so cool. Just, you have to go see it. And then one of the last things we did was I got to actually try out this dinosaur app. It's weird. It's interesting that it comes like pre-installed on the device, but it was. So I got to like look at the dinosaurs and hold my hand out for the butterfly. But it was overall a really awesome experience. 3D is immaculate on the Vision Pro. But that really was mainly the demo. 30 minutes, one-on-one, free, and I suggest you go try it because it really is awesome. Alright, so now I just kind of want to get into my thoughts. What did I think about it? 5 good, 5 bad. So let's start with the first one, which is actually how immersive it just genuinely is. Now, I know I just covered that in the 3D and stuff, but it's just when you can put the photos or videos just around your face, there's a different kind of level of immersion to it than just, going to a movie theater and watching a movie. And it's something crazy. Again, I can't describe it. You have to go watch it. I know I've said that 500 times now, but it's awesome. It's something you just have to see for yourself. Now, my second point is how easy it is to control the device. So, like, obviously most like VR headsets use controllers, right? You just put your hands in them, and that's kind of how you move things around, or play games, for example. But nothing is more intuitive and easy to use than your own eyes and your own hands. And so it's crazy how it works. Like, you look at an object, you click your fingers together, and it's selected. You move a window by pinching it and moving it, back and forth like this or around. You can put it up, and it automatically kind of angles. Like, if I put it on the roof, it's not gonna, like, I'm not gonna be looking at it at a weird angle. Like, it's gonna automatically adjust and make it easy to look at. And it's just like, if I was going to operate a device naturally, this would probably be the natural way I would want to do it. Kind of on the topic of immersiveness is just how many windows you can put kind of wherever you want. And so, obviously, I edit my YouTube videos on one iPad Pro. That's one screen, which can be a little bit squished or crammed, for example. But I can just kind of imagine using Vision Pro to be able to have 10 windows, right? Basically, as many windows as you can fit in a 360-degree view is how many you can do. And so that's really awesome for workflows. Now, I have heard that it might be a little more awkward to use it like that. Like, it's just harder. It's not as natural yet as a MacBook or a laptop of some kind, just because we've accustomed to that. We have not accustomed to this yet. However, I do think in the future it's really powerful, really cool, and I think it would be something amazing to be able to use, just to have this many windows. Like, I could have a 15 monitor setup if I wanted to, right? Like, it's really cool. All right, so again, like on the topic of photos and videos, it was awesome. I have no other words than it was just awesome. To be able to kind of look up close, like things got really close. With the dinosaur app thing, the way, like if I put my head over here, the dinosaur would follow me. If I put it here, the dinosaur would follow me. And so it's a really immersive, like I could get down and like look underneath the dinosaur. Don't take that the wrong way. The dude said I could do it, all right? But it's cool. It's cool how it works. It is truly immersive 3D. Yeah, and so just overall, it's a really cool piece of technology. There's amazing things about it. And I think it's going to go very far in the future. But we do have to talk about some negatives now. Some things I didn't like. Because there's a few, right? It's a first generation product. I've heard people say this. This is going to be the worst VR headset, AR headset, augmented reality headset that Apple ever makes. They're only getting better from here. But here's kind of my issues with it. All right, so number one is the fact that it is a really, really heavy device. I've heard people talk about it. I wanted to either prove it or disprove it for myself. I proved it. It is a really heavy device. Granted, like I said in the beginning, I did not have the option to use the overhead and behind head strap. I just had the one that goes behind you, the more iconic one. But man, it was so heavy. Like, the second I put it on, it felt like a brick kind of just wanting to push my head down. And that's, like, unpleasant for a long period of time. Now, granted, maybe I could just, work out my neck, get that stronger, and it wouldn't be as big of a deal. But I've heard, I've experienced it myself. I've heard from other people. It is heavy. Could I get used to it? Yeah, probably, of course. But either way, it is something that is hard to wear for a long period of time. And on the topic of heavy things, oh my goodness, the actual battery itself, I've not really heard anyone talk about this, but like, the battery that plugs into the side of Vision Pro, it's really heavy too. Like, it's heavier than an iPhone 15 Pro Max, I can confirm. But it's like, I am so glad they didn't put that like on the headset too, because that would just be crazy heavy. But no, it's also really heavy, and I'm glad that that's not part of the headset. Alright, so this is another thing that I have heard people complain about, and that is the field of view. I also have experienced the field of view being kind of okay. I've heard people say this too. It's like looking through binoculars. I can confirm. I have heard people say that it gets better with different light seals. Maybe one bigger, for example. Although I only had the option to try whatever they gave me. But whatever they gave me definitely produced a good binocular effect. And so there was some decent black bars, almost, I guess, bezels technically, kind of around like the outer parts of my eye, like here, basically. And so, maybe that's something they'll improve in the future, but it was definitely a concern for this first generation product. So now let's talk about pass-through. Now, I do think pass-through is probably the best of any VR headset I've seen so far. It really is awesome. However, if I'm being dead honest, like, it was a bit grainy. It was a bit weird, right? Like, looking outside, the sky was completely blown out while everything inside was the color it's supposed to be. I noticed things did seem pretty grainy, and like, this is an Apple store, right? Everything's lit perfectly to make everything look beautiful. And even then, I could still kind of see some graininess, some weird light artifacts, stuff like that. And so granted, it'll get better in the future, but for now, it's just far enough away from like reality for you to notice that it's not it's not reality. All right, so lastly, let's get the facts out of the way. So this device, Apple Vision Pro, without any extra anything, the base price is $3,499. And so that means that, well, number one, it's expensive. Number two, not a ton of people are buying it. Now, granted, I've actually seen quite a lot of people buy it, more than I actually would have thought. However, I've also seen a lot of those people return the device before their 14-day return period is over, so there's that. But yeah, $3,499. That's a couple house payments, maybe a car payment, a couple car payments. That's expensive. And it's just like, I personally, for me, do not think it's worth that much money. It's awesome. I would love to own one. But I just, I saw a poll that said like how much money is it worth for the excitement it is, right? So there was like a poll of 500, 1,000, 1,500, something like that. And the majority of people were around the $500 to $1,000 price tag worth of excitement. And I honestly agree. I don't think this is worth more, for me right now at least, than maybe $1,500 at the absolute max. Like, it's cool, don't get me wrong, but it's also really expensive. So for me, is it worth it? No, but it is awesome, and I would love to continue to use it. Maybe I'll own one one day. But yeah, that's really about it. This is a longer video. It might be a little bit shorter. Right now it's 22 minutes long. Might be a little bit shorter when I cut it down. But if you've stuck with me this so far, I'm very thankful. So I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and if you did, please remember to like, subscribe, and hit the bell, as it helps me out a ton. I love making these videos. I love talking about tech, especially tech like this where it's just state-of-the-art and awesome. But hope you guys did enjoy this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. So yeah, bye guys.